welcome to today's live stream where I will be going over the Rolling Faces modifier, which is currently up on my Gumroad page now. You've probably seen me work on this for a few months now, and after some deliberation on what version of Blender I should use, what kind of nodes I should use for it, it's finally up on Gumroad for Blender 4.1. So this one, we won't need 4.2. I figured out that the matrix nodes are not 100% necessary, so I brought it back down to a version that I think most people will be using for a while now. And also, 4.2 is not officially out yet, so I can't exactly release it then. But yeah, this setup, it's working quite well. Adding all the convenience features to it was it was a little bit of a headache to fully figure out, but it works out pretty well. So, how does this work? Well, you go and put the modifier on an object, which is fairly simple. You can either do it by searching, going in, adding a geometry node, or just looking at the unassigned tab. Fairly straightforward. But then after that, you go and assign a vertex group, which in this case it's just labeled group, because that's the default name that Blender has, and then you can go and assign however many faces you want, and then the effect will start from whatever face you assigned. So as we can see here, I now have 2 faces assigned, and now it's going from 2 parts, which is really cool. And also there is a threshold, so if you want more faces to be the start ones, or if you assigned a vertice, you can just slide this to have a little more customization. So here, if I bring it up, we can see that one of the faces is selected, while the bottom one was just a vertex, so it kind of gets blurred out by when it tries to select a face. So you have options. Convenience. So, with this, it's just a simple cube. We can set the end rotation value. In this case, it is 90 degrees. So here we can see that these fold into, if I reduce the range value, we can see that they fold up to 90 degrees, which can lead to this very nice cube rolling effect, kind of like the GameCube logo back in the day. So, with all this, you can change the range. So here we can make it so that it'll only take 1 face to complete its operation, which looks very interesting and a little bit stepped, which is pretty cool. But then you could go and make it so that it takes, maybe 10 faces for it to fully transform and all that cool stuff. And rotation I already mentioned. But you could go and also change the scale so that they can grow into the final location, which is really cool. Over here, we can see that there is, in this version, I've disabled the bevel modifier at the end just for performance sake, but you can apply solidify and bevel modifiers after the fact. With this one, I've animated the invert value right here, so when it unfolds, it's already inverted, so you get that kind of like cracked egg kind of look. But when it goes back to the regular one, we can see that it kind of folds up regularly, so you have more options. That's the thing with this, having lots of nice and convenient options for everything. And I also like the panels. Panels were a very great addition to geometry nodes, where you can just go and collapse everything, which that is an important thing to showcase next, the randomize feature. So with this, we can see that this one right here is very regular. Everything's as equidistant as possible, because the default option is to just use the shortest path from the start face. But you can also use the edge angle, which can lead to some different results. In this case, since it's a mostly regular sphere with semi-regular faces, you can't quite see too much of the differences. But what I want to look at here is the randomize feature. So here, with the shortest path node, we can go and randomize the path that's going to take. So when it's set to 0, we can see that's just taking the shortest path. But as we turn the randomize slider up, it starts to randomize the output to where it's now choosing just whichever one that's next in the chain, which leads to this very cool, again, kind of egg cracking and unrolling kind of effect. But you can also change the probability. When you get to around 0.25 or 0.3, you get something within this range, 0.5 to 0.25. You get just about the range, which is the longest path almost, and it leads to some cool effects. And then you can obviously change the seed value, but those are most of the features. Again, I tried to boil down all the features so that you get, the essential ones, but also having as much flexibility as possible. Again, the product is now up on Gumroad. It is paid, just to let you know. But I will put the link in the chat if I can, if YouTube will allow me. The rolling faces modifier. There you go. So if you want to buy it, there it is, right there. Okay. So, would you like to see under the hood? Would you like to see a few of the nodes? This one is complicated, but I did do a little semi-breakdown tutorial when I first created the effect back maybe around 6 months, maybe 4 months ago. But through a lot of trial and error, and also seeing if the matrix nodes would simplify it, I just came back around to using Blender 4.1 since it was the most convenient option for people who want to use it, because 4.1 is more, is very heavily used, while 4.2 is still coming out. And will take a while before people transfer to it. So again, oh, this one's one of my favorites because it almost looks like, I don't know, the computer paths, the circuit paths, almost. Because this mesh is triangulated. The shape of the faces will, of course, change the output because, well, more faces equals more paths for the shortest path algorithm to take. So in this version, they just grow out and then have a little bit of rotation, about 10 or so degrees. Could make it so that it's 0, but I found that that looked just a little bit more boring. Let's go and do that. And with this one, we can see that this one is heavily randomized, but it made a little sphere when I set the rotation to be like that, which I found pretty cool. Again, so many other options with this. I really like the Menger sponge. I'm not sure if that's what it's officially called, or the official pronunciation. But I was like, will this work well in this object? Because it has a lot of faces that are connected, but also faces that are kind of joined up. Like, each one is connected to almost all the other ones in the kind of cube structure. So, turns out it works out very well, and I'm very surprised by it. There we go. And it almost looks like leaves, but maybe that's just because I colored it green. But yeah, it's very cool. I'm very happy that this product is finally ready to release, because it took way too long for me to decide what was best for the output. Also, let me go and assign more parts to the vertex group. This is a very interesting mesh. The Menger sponge was made using the extra objects add-on. There are lots of very cool test objects that you can go and test this on. There it is, the Menger sponge. So you can go and set the levels. I clicked 2 because 3 was a few too many polygons for my liking. Yeah, there that is. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Yeah, let me read the chat real quick. Thank you for these live streams, really helping me. Hey, I'm glad they're useful. Kind of reminds me of the Pokemon from X and Y Legendary. I haven't played Pokemon, but I can see how that could be the case. When I first posted this, I had a green interior, and I think people were saying, hey, that looks like a Pokemon several times. But yeah. And also, let's see, yeah, let's go inside of the geometry nodes and just showcase a bit more of this. Now, ideally, just because of the way I like to make my geometry node products, the user will never have to look inside of it. Because, you know, I want someone who has no knowledge of geometry nodes to be able to use these. But just to showcase a little bit, and the changes since the little breakdown. Lost my train of thought. 1 second, clicked on the wrong menu. But here's the setup. Now you may be wondering, wow, that's actually pretty messy and complicated. And the reason for that is because most of it is just for the controls. So this entire part right here, and again, you won't need to look inside of this if you're using the product. You'll only have to look at the modifier tab. But getting the progression range to actually be the range from when it started to when it ended was actually a little bit annoying, especially with the invert process. But yeah. Looking at all this, it's just, getting the shortest path stuff set up, and then the parent face corners, getting the local transforms, stacking the transforms. It was a little annoying to figure out. And also, since this one is not in 4.2, I'm not using the matrix transform node, so I kind of made my own. And turns out this one was a bit better because unfortunately, with the matrix node setup, I probably did it wrong. But I found that if I tried scaling and rotating the faces at the same time, they would snap between one rotation and another, almost like the kind of quaternion, like how quaternions can't go 360 degrees. I'm not sure if that was the cause, but I just found out that using the vector-based method was better because, of course, it was a little bit faster. But also just seeing the 2 or 3 vectors is, you know, easier to deal with. Let me go back to the shader editor. Yeah, that should be good. And also, since a 4x4 matrix, this is getting into the nerd stuff, but a 4x4 matrix is 16 values, because 4x4 equals 16, while having 3 vectors is 9 values, because a vector is 3 values. So it is a little bit faster. Now, it was an interesting performance trade-off, because you need to store more attributes in separate store-named attribute nodes, so that was a little bit of a performance hit. So, you know, you have 1, 2, 3, while a matrix node would be 1. I found that the performance differences kind of almost evened out, while this version was just a little bit faster. So I was like, well, that's good. I won't complain about that. More accessibility to more Blender versions, and a little bit more performance. Yeah. What size monitor do you use, and what resolution? I actually do not know the size of it, but it's big enough, and it is 1080p. I do not use 4K or 2K or anything like that, because, well, mainly, I just like the shape of my monitor. And I do not render in anything higher than 1080p for personal projects. So I don't need it. So I just keep within the range of what I need for my projects. And I have a second side monitor of the same resolution, so that I can check chat and all that cool stuff. Let's see. I'm slowly learning Blender nodes, and I just have a hard time to remember. Yeah, it can be a bit annoying to try to get into. What you're seeing with these projects is years of learning and testing, and also the nodes developing alongside it. Let's see. Are you live on Instagram as well? No Instagram. I am on Instagram, I post on there, but I do not go live on there. Only YouTube, just for simplicity's sake. The blue background really goes well with the cube. Yes. Made that a while back, and I was like, you know what? That was before I was thinking about making this into a product, and I was like, you know what? Let's just have it as the product background. I like having my products looking very nice, very good. Let's see, any other... Now you could, I guess I could do a little showcase of using this on a like geometric shape. So I will try it on this little mannequin that I have. Oops, let's go back to the outliner here. Now this may look a little bit weird, but maybe it could look really, really cool. So I will go and assign a vertex group right on this back face right here. There we go. Let's go and add in an unassigned Rolling Faces version 5. So here we can see, since the group is already assigned there, you can go and just animate that, and it works. It will unfold the mesh, which this is a rather low poly mesh, so it doesn't look, you know, quite as good, but we can always do a cheeky subdivide. Then, you know, let's maybe change the scale to 0 so that we can see, oh, that's pretty cool. Again, we can use the threshold so that it'll select only the faces we desire. So let's go there and assign only one back face so that we can see that it'll only start on 1. There we go. There we go. Very cool. So what else? Oh, and just to showcase this as well, if you have an attribute with a different name, so let's name this, other one. I'll go and copy the name, and we'll go and assign 2 faces, 1 on each hand, so that it kind of assembles. All you need to do is put this into the name, the string name right there, and it will just work, which is really nice. You just do that, slide the slider, and it just works. Yeah, that is the setup. Yeah, I can delete that. Yeah, that's the entire effect. So I don't want the stream to go on for too long. I just want this as a little product showcase. Not really experimenting with any new geometry node stuff right now. But let me read the chat once again before we wrap this all up. Let's see. Looks like the effect from RA1 movie. I think that sounds familiar. I think someone linked me a video about that when I was first creating this effect, which is really funny that keeps coming up. Okay. I recently started to be frustrated by the fact that authors of node groups do not know about the ways to optimize the groups. Optimizations are very important. With this, I use the, let's see, let's go and show this. I use the, the timing part right here. In the node editor overlays, I just select timing, and then I can see how fast this node group is going to be. In this case, around 5 milliseconds, 5 to 6, which is still a little bit expensive, but it's about as fast as you can get with these kinds of setups. You just keep testing. And of course, with this, in one of the first versions, I did all the calculations on the face corners, which was a terrible idea for a first version. Since this is the faces rotating, it will have to go to the vertices, eventually. But if you do all the stacking on the face domain, then that means that you have a list of many, like, I don't know, there's usually, in most cases, not all cases, because some of these use polygons that are not quads or tris. Usually, there are 4 times more vertices than faces, so if you do a calculation on the face domain, that's a lot less calculations to do, and then you can just port that data onto the vertices of the said face, and it's a lot cheaper that way. So that was a very good optimization. Let's see, I am a one monitor guy, struggle. Wait, yeah, that was the comment. Yeah, I find that I have one monitor for whatever I'm working on, so in this case, this is my Blender monitor, and then my side monitor is for YouTube, the chat, all that fun stuff. But yeah, one monitor, I don't think I could go back to that. I just ordered a 32-inch 4K monitor, really excited. Ooh, that could be very, very cool. Been thinking about buying a new monitor for my PS5 and side-eye stuff. Yeah. The PS5 supports 4K. Oh, sorry, wrong comment. New sub, thank you for subscribing. Buy a big 4K monitor. My monitor is kind of old since using S-Card. I'm not sure what that is. Let's see. Once you go up to a high resolution, you won't want to go back. That's what I'm afraid of. Because I've been told, oh, you need like a 60 hertz 4K monitor and all that, and once you go up, you can't go back. But that also means once you go up, every other system in the universe, you'll feel just dread using them. So I like having a setup that's like every other, well, most high-end, I like having a setup that other 3D artists use, because when I go and use other people's systems and stuff like that, it will be pretty much the same, instead of going from, you know, Ultra 4K and all that to 1080p when you need to go and do that. Yeah. I wonder if there's anything else to go over. I think that should be everything. Oh, I didn't showcase the edge angle quite enough. Let's go over here and turn off the randomize factor. So here we can see with this version, as it grows, it has one kind of style to it. But if we go and turn off edge angle, it'll just pick the shortest path. So it's more up to personal preference. Like actually, will the cube showcase this a bit better? Let me turn off random factor and uncheck use edge angle. So here, let me turn off the start face. So remove. There we go. So here, if we just have edge angle not on, we can see that'll just pick the shortest path. It just goes up and around there. But if we have use edge angle on, it'll be biased against going over sharp corners like this. One will go over it, and then it'll kind of spill over, so we can see that those ones get solved before it solves the middle, which can lead to some cool effects. Again, the checkbox is there just in case you want to use it. Yeah, that is the face rolling modifier, powered using Blender 4.1 geometry nodes. So that is the entire effect. Again, it's up on Gumroad for, I think, $5 right now, if you would like to pick it up. It's been a while since I've put up a proper paid product, so I hope this one's good. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I may be live later on today to do some more experimental geometry node stuff to test out maybe the rigid body branch. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. Maybe even, I don't know, maybe it'll either be in like 10 to 20 minutes or in 3 hours. We'll see. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoy this product if you choose to pick it up, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one.